Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are so excited to have all of you here today with us at the meet and greet with PSF D&I workgroup. We are going to give you a sneak peek about what is our vision, what is our mission, who are we, and what are we doing, what are the initiatives that we have taken in the past, and what the future looks like. So I'm going to hand over to the panelists for the introductions. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for your presence here with us. We're really excited for being at PyCascades. And my name is Débora Azevedo. I'm one of PyLadies Brazil co-founders and one of the PSF board directors member. Uh, I've been around in the Python community for like 7 years when PyLadies Brazil started, and I've been like checking out all of the things about diversity and inclusion that are going on for this time. And it's really exciting to have a work group to work on that. And since I am a teacher, which I didn't mention before, it's really important for me to see how this learning about diversity and inclusion is going on.
Thank you so much, Deborah. So I'm Sayantika. I'm from India. My pronouns are she, her. I'm part of the PSL DNA group, I think frogs from a year, and I look forward to a couple of surveys and I'm also going to talk about a little bit how we are doing it at PSF. And I'm so glad to be here and presenting our thoughts and vision. Over to Teresa.
Thank you, Sayantika. Hi everybody. My name is Tereza Iofciu. My pronouns are she, her, and I come from Romania, but I live in Germany, Hamburg, so it's night outside almost. Evening. Yeah. So I am a data science coach in my work time at a bootcamp school called Neue Fische, and otherwise I am involved in a lot of community work from PyLadies Hamburg and the Diversity and Inclusion group from the PSF, and also the Code of Conduct work group, the PSF. And glad to be here, and thank you for tuning in, and handing it over to Georgie.
Thanks, Teresa. Hi, everyone. This is Georgie here. Actually, right now in Thailand, and I am pronounced. My pronounce is she, her, and I'm actually the PyCon Thailand conference lead. But I will be leaving Thailand soon, and so at the moment, I'm actually pretty new in the Python community, but have been pretty active in the community for past 2 years. So I've also joined the diversity and inclusion work group for the PSF because I felt the importance of being part of this community and to expand a little bit more and to understand, to let people know a little bit more about diversity and inclusion. So yeah, I'm also the co-founder of PyLadies Bangkok and a couple of other things and well, also a little bit done a little bit about Ruby and etc. I'm just gonna pass over to Marlene and she's gonna continue.
Hey, thanks. Thanks, Georgie. Hi, everyone. My name is Marlene. My pronouns are she, her, and I am several things about me. I've been in the Python community for a number of years now, probably 7 or 8 years, and I was actually at this conference last year. I'm on the board of directors for the PSF. I'm currently the vice chair, but this will be my final year on the board. So looking forward to just being like a normal community member for a while, but very passionate about the diversity and inclusion work group as well. I'm currently chairing the work group. I'm also based in Harare, Zimbabwe, so have been very active in the Python community here in Africa. And I'm very passionate about the programming community across the continent of Africa and have been for a number of years. As my day job right now, I am working as a developer advocate for Voltron Data And yeah, that's pretty much it about myself. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive in to the start of our panel session and just tell you a bit more about just an introduction to what our goals are and who we are as the diversity and inclusion work group for the PSF. So something to know right away is that the Python community is really big and it's extremely global as well. For anyone who doesn't know, Python is actually being used on every single continent in the world. I always feel like it's a surprise when we talk about the fact that even in like Iceland, there's a Python meetup in Iceland, and I just think that's amazing. And so because of that, we want to make sure that at every level possible, there is good representation. And so part of our goal as a diversity and inclusion work group is to be pushing that forward. And one of the ways that that is already kind of built in is that we are, back to the other slide, sorry, that we have representation beginning, and we're starting out with geography. Representation and diversity is so many different things, but we're starting out as the diversity and inclusion work group. We're starting out with geographic diversity. So our work group comprises of people from almost every single continent in the world. And so that's a really great first step. But we also acknowledge that diversity is more than just geography, more than just different races as well. And so we're going to be like making sure those are priorities as we continue to grow. So the D&I work group as well, next slide. The mission of the diversity and inclusion work group is to support and to further the PSF's mission to support and facilitate the growth of a diverse and international community of Python programmers. We also aim to provide guidance to the PSF Board of Directors in line with this mandate. So part of the PSF's mission is to make sure that the PSF's international community and is growing at a really fast pace, and making sure that as we're growing, we're also being conscious of the different cultures, the different people that are part of our community. And our work group, which is about, right now, we're now almost a year old, I would say, is trying to help the PSF achieve that mission. Next slide. And how are we working to do this? There are a number of ways that we're doing this off the bat. The first thing, like I mentioned earlier, is global representation. We have Python communities all over the world, and we're wanting to make sure that the needs of those communities are met and are being heard by the PSF. I think in the past, and rightly so, a lot of the leadership in the PSF have been based in the United States or in Europe. And that's something we're wanting to change and make sure that, you know, even if that's the case, that the voices of people from all over the world are being heard. Another way that we are trying to do this is that we want to make sure that we're supporting the PSF in policy, grant, and proposal work, so that they are making as informed of decisions as possible, and that some of the grants are going to things that we feel will really make an impact in terms of growing diversity across the Python community. Another thing that we'd like to do is make sure we're increasing communication with the Python community across the world. So making sure that communities around the world are also feeling connected to the community, and that we are finding out from them what's important to them. And then a final thing as well, which we will talk about in this talk, is measuring and evaluating and sharing progress. There's so much progress that has happened over the past, couple of years, over the past decade, that I feel, needs to be explored, needs to be celebrated, and also needs to be evaluated and tracked. So that's something that our group is working on as well. So why is diversity and inclusion important for Python? The first thing is that if Python is going to grow and be adopted, we need to be a welcoming community. And so if we are inclusive and a diverse community where people feel like they are comfortable being part of the Python community, the language is naturally going to grow and the community is naturally going to grow as well. Tereza actually mentioned this, but this is a great quote where she was saying, where talking about relevance and that nothing about us is without us. So we can't talk about a global Python language without including people from different parts of the world, even in the technical aspect of things. So that's really important, the relevance of the language. And then the final thing is innovation. I really believe that when you have a lot of diverse perspective, a lot of diverse ways of looking at a problem or things like that, you have a greater chance for innovation. And so that's something we also want to really encourage, and we're hoping to see as the community becomes more diverse. And so why was the PSF D&I work group started? So to kind of help you understand that, Débora, I think, is going to be taking on the next section and letting us know a bit more about why our work group was started.
Yes, thank you so much, Marlene. And when we think about the D&I work group, we need to go back to almost 2 years ago, actually, when we had the PSF elections. I'm sorry. And well, I remember that almost 2 years ago, I ran for the election, right? I was checking out people who were on the board. And one thing that we didn't see there, in my case, for example, that I am from Brazil, from South America, and there was no one from my continent. And well, Brazil is a huge country. Almost all South America is Brazil. It's really continental. And we have a very strong Python community here in Brazil. One of the most growing communities, Python communities. So since we have everything that's going on here with regional conferences like PyCascades and our national conference and the community being fostered and growing, why aren't we there in a place like the board of directors, right? Why are we not occupying these spaces? So I remember I ran for the board in 2020. That was my first time running. And well, I didn't get in. And when the results came out, I remember that there were 4 spots available, and they were taken. And the 5th person was Valerie, that is also from Central America, if I'm not mistaken. And she didn't get in for like 3 votes. And that, if I think about the cut, she didn't get to the cut for 3 votes. And I remember I didn't get to the cut for like 20 votes, less than 20 votes, if I'm not mistaken. So that was really, really close. And when we think about the people who got in, there was no one who looked like me, or no one who I could relate to when I think about the experiences. So there was no one from my region. And then it started a whole discussion on threads, email threads. And well, it was decided that we should actively start to have a work group to work on this thing. So to look for those people who are in different parts of the world, to look for people with different backgrounds, with different experiences regarding the communities, because each community has its own perspectives. So these perspectives needed to be seen. So one of the things that the PSF needs to do, and we are working on that, for example, is that now there is still a lack of awareness about the PSF internationally. And then, well, we have the entity, the PSF, but if I think about the Python user groups here in my state, in the city I live in, do they know about the PSF? They use Python, they are Python developers, they have events that talk about Python and features and everything, but they are not aware that there is an entity that they can and they should rely into, right? And well, there's a lot of talks and a lot of content, especially in English, about the PSF. So one of my questions was how to do that outside the US or Europe or countries where English is the main language. So language might still be a barrier. For example, I am a Portuguese. I speak Portuguese. Um, there are many parts of the world that speak Spanish, for example, if I think about South America. So there is still a lot to be done if we want people from the Python community here, for example, to be aware about what the PSF does. So having geographic and linguistic representation is extremely important because when we have people who speak different languages from English, for example, I can go to the board of directors meetings with some perspectives from smaller Python groups, from for folks that don't speak English, but they have concerns, they have needs, and they want to be heard. So when we go through this, when we have this geographic and these linguistic barriers lowering down, we can start to do things differently. Could you go please to the next slide, Teresa? And then, well, how was speaking before? If we look to the last two elections for the PSF board members, uh, it's really different, right? So when we think about it, there are over 8 million Python developers worldwide, and in these recent years, the biggest growth can be seen from Asia Pacific region and India as well. It's probably going to overtake the US for the next 5 years. So if we have all these people using Python, having meetups, holding events, why they're not getting to different parts of the Python community? They are doing all the work to foster their communities where they are, but they're there, but there are other places they should occupy to have their concerns heard, right? So it's really important to note that. And we had 26 nominees for 4 board seats, and all the 4 people elected were US based persons from the election that I got really close. So it was a bit frustrating, not because of the people who got there, but for the reason that I wanted to be there, or another person from Brazil or from South America that also didn't get in. So it was a bit frustrating. Could you go please to the next slide, Teresa? So we can take a peek for the 2021. So the issues that we wanted to fix regarding that specific election was a geographic representation. So we had amazing people who were nominated for the election, but for some reason they didn't get in. The 4 people who got in were all US based people. So what do we need to do? Like, how do we fix this geographic representation? And one thing that we got from the emails when the elections started last year was that one nice thing for it to be would be like not be from the US, based on the US, be from different regions. And also make specific recommendations that actually promote change. So if in your community you see a person that you think you would be great occupying this space, if you see a person or people in the plural who have been done so much work and they would be amazing to bring up their communities to a different space, you should do that. You should nominate those persons for the board of elections. You should nominate those people for community service awards. And also take time to read the statements of the people who are nominated. there are long nominations with people who wrote the amazing things that they do for their communities, but sometimes we don't take the time to read that and to acknowledge that when we choose the person that we are going to vote for. Could you go to the next slide, please, Teresa? And then finally, for the last one that we had, how was this time? We had more than 1,500 people who were eligible to vote, but less than 600 did. So we still have a low percentage of the people who actually vote. And for this time, we had 90 nominees for 3 board seats. And then one thing for us to think about is that how the percentage of the voting people dropped a bit, which is a concern. Because if we really want to see change, we need to work locally and then change it to globally and exercise our right to vote and to choose. And well, we had less board seats as well. And then what we had was that the voter base increased by 33%. So we had more people that were eligible to vote. And at this time, we had Joanna from Kenya and me from Brazil who got elected, which is great because this is a portrait of change, is a portrait that we are trying to do things differently. Next slide, please, Teresa. And well, about the elections, to summarize, well, there is progress. We can clearly see progress with the result of the elections specifically, but there is much more work that needs to be done. And well, we are counting. You can count on us, and we are all counting on you as well to do this work.
So, serving our international members, how do we do that since we are from a diverse regions, we belong to diverse cultures, belong to various geographic regions? It's very difficult when we see this problem and we break down this problem as we do mostly in our tech world. One of the key aspects that we have is having a database. How does that sound cool? No, it doesn't sound cool. But that's one of the ways that we have to manage and make sure that each one of us and each one of our community members is able to reach out to us and we know that they are there and there is a problem that needs to be solved. We come together, we collect surveys, and on top of we brainstorm what are the possible problems, how we are solving them, what are the local communities facing, draw an action plan, and from there grow, improve, improvise, and we learn so much from there. It's sometimes we also fail to understand of various different problems from various different geographies, so we have to go back to our drawing board, resketch it, and come back and take account each and every response that we have. Can we have the next slide? Thank you. Again, surveys. That certainly rings the bell. Okay, I have to open a Google form and I have to fill a bunch of checkboxes, add my reviews. Oh, it's not fun. We do understand. But this is one of the ways that we are able to reach you and get your response and understand what problems that you're facing. There are different direct modes of communication as well. We would be sharing at the end of our session where definitely you can reach to us as well. But there is a survey that helps us to understand this. I think you would able to see that on the other platform, on the Venueless platform must be in your private chat of the event. It's a Google survey which is completely anonymous and the data completely resides with us. It's only to understand vision and mission, your geography. Are there any issues that you're facing? Is your community well recognized over there? or any other thing that you want us to know and we don't know. So please go ahead and fill the survey. It would take around 2 to 3 minutes guessing it, but yeah, that would definitely help us to strive to our goals. And all of us are here to make the community better, and we need your help. As Deborah mentioned, we are here, we all need your help to progress, proceed, and make this community a better place for everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sayantika. So the next part of the um, well, the Python community that we're going to talk about is the Python technical leadership, which is the core developers contributing to Python. And at the moment, it's still a majority of the core developers are also in North America. And as you've heard already through the presentation, that is not the case of where our Python users are. Python users are all over the world. And it would be basically, well, ideally really cool if all over the world there would also be Python core developers at some point in the near future. And with that, I would go a little bit into explaining what the core developer and why is this important, right? So again, coming back to nothing for us without us. So if you're not part of, if you're living in another continent that is not North America, and you're using Python, but you have different needs than the people living in North America, then you might want to be part of the core developer group to do that. And there's all sorts of ways to become a core developer. You could start by contributing to Python. There's a lot of mentoring going on, and at some point you become a maintainer and you get invited or you get mentored into it. And so another thing that you have to pay attention, again, why it's also a type of work that not everybody affords to be doing, is because it does take, from what I understood from some core developers that I asked, sometimes like up to 2-3 hours per day. And there's also a lot of invisible work going on in core developer work, lots of communication, written communication. So all of the Python discussions and mailing lists are open to the public, so you can read how long it takes for a pull request to be approved, how much communication goes there, all that. So you have to be really up for that. And another thing is that what happens here is also the same what happens with volunteers in general, is the volunteer burnout, and also can happen to core developers, that it's basically so much work and it's really sometimes really emotional work that you have to put in. And as I said, not everybody can afford it. Not everybody has the 2-3 hours time. In some places of the world, people actually have to have 2-3 jobs in order to support their families, and they cannot have volunteer work. That is a luxury. So basically, what should companies do for that, right? Well, it's pretty easy. So many companies are using Python, and it's really nice. It's open source, it's free. And they could do all sorts of things in order to contribute, right? So first, they could give work hours to their employees to contribute to Python, right? And or donate money to the Python Software Foundation, who then can pay some core developers. And also making invisible work visible. Talking about the invisible work makes it visible, of course. And and then facilitate events. So maybe at some point we're gonna go live events, maybe we stay in remote events forever, but all of these events need sponsorship, they need donations, and you have all these platforms, they are not for free. And if you wanna be supporting such events, is basically you can, as a company, contribute also like this to the Python community, and then leads to helping and bring visibility to the open source community. And yes, so I will give it up to Georgie, who will talk about the next part.
Yeah, so you can see there are many solutions you can actually contribute to the community. It could be a maintainer, it could be among your region, it could be many solutions that you can actually contribute. But we still need everyone to pay just, even if it's just 1 hour per day, if you or a week, to just put in to help to let this language grow. So how do we actually let's just give you an example of the difference of a contribution to the documentation, for example. So documentation is really important in terms of languages, because if you are learning a new language, you need to understand how it works. And although the world, we have like over 1.3 billion people speaking English, and guess what? There's only 369.9 who are first language speakers. And most of them, 978 million of us, or many others around the world, are mostly second language speakers. So with the help of the community to actually do translation, it does make a difference to the community to learn the language much faster. So from this chart here, you can see that in July 2021, we have Korea that has 89.8% completed in the documentation translation, and Spain 77.6, and Japanese 73.3, and so on and so forth. But I remember was last year PyCon US when we actually did one of these diversity and inclusion talk. One of the question was asked about this translation issue and this documentation issue, and it was Christian who actually come up and ask about why how they could actually contribute to documentation. And do you think actually anyone who actually comes in to help does make a difference? And the result is yes, we do. So this year, January 2022, Spanish documentation is 100% completed. And with the help of the community, we actually managed to get that and achieve that. So yes, every single help from any single one of you does make a difference to this community. And so like what Deborah has mentioned about all the second language speakers that's around the world, we do have a lot of people from, like, even from my side in Thailand or in Malaysia, in Philippines, in India, who don't actually speak English as the main language. Documentation does help to provide better education. So we do request that if you can, actually do contribute to the documentation side. And for PSF, we do have a kind of contribution to reward people who actually has been helping out in the community in whatever that you have been helping out for to grow this Python PSF and the Python community, which is the community award. So this year we are, I think it's Marlene, you did mention that it was not out yet, but it has been confirmed that PyCon Japan has been awarded the community service. From what I know over my site in Asia Pacific, PyCon Japan has been working really hard and has been helping and advocating Python language everywhere around Japan for a long time. And it was with the help of PyCon Japan that the PyCon APIC community did grow spontaneously and immensely. So they even what did they do this year? I think they actually did quite it's not only one event but several events that they actually contributed to the donation, and they managed to raise 25,000 US dollars to PSF, which is enormous. That's one of the biggest role for the donor on a roll. So there are many ways that Pi Community Award and PSF actually provide this kind of award to a maintainer, to a service contributor, to anyone to provide more help. And and I believe, because I was also one of the person who received the community award last year, and it comes as a surprise, but this kind of motivation helps every one of us to feel that we are feeling great, and at least it's that this what you have actually contributed has been recognized and is not forgotten. So we do have we do have everyone in mind, thinking about this. Sometimes it might not be this year, but eventually it will come to you. So yeah, that's all about the community award. And Teresa, what do we have to do? So yep, if you want to join us in our mission, do write on this. We have our email that you can actually reach us. And I think now with only about 10 minutes to go, we are going to hop into the Q&A session. And Cyan, do you want to take over the Q&A session here?
Thank you so much, Georgie. So I will moderate the Q&A. Currently, I see there are two questions. I'm going to take the first one now. The first question that we have from our audience is, how does somebody become eligible to vote?
In the PSF?
Yes, I believe.
Okay, I can answer that question. Well, basically, you have to be, in order to vote, you can be a contributing member or a supporting member. So there are two things you can do. So one of those things is contribute to the community in any way for a certain number of hours. I think maybe a month or something like that. But it's not a lot of time. So even if you come attend a conference, or if you're organizing a conference, or whatever it is, that is still contributing to the community. So you can sign up at the PSF at python.org and look for the PSF and sign up as a contributing member. Or you could pay and donate to be a supporting member of the PSF. I believe that's $99 a year. And if you join as a supporting member, you are also eligible to vote. So those are the two ways I believe that you can become a voting member of the PSF.
Thank you. Do anybody want to add something? I think Deborah, please go ahead.
Yes. So to be a contributing member or a managing member, as Marlene says, it doesn't take as much as we think it does. Actually, if you work like for a managing member, managing members are those people who dedicate at least 5 hours per month working to support the Python ecosystem. So organizing Python events, managing your contributing for projects that the PSF is running infrastructure, participating in the PSF work groups. And if you work on 5 hours per month on that, you can be a managing member. The contributing members are those who dedicate at least also 5 hours working on Python related projects that advance the mission of the PSF. So if you work at least 5 hours per month, which I really believe many of us do, you are eligible to vote. If you answer mailing lists, if you share posts on social media about the events that you are hosting, it all counts. So most of us are actually eligible to vote, but we don't know. So
Yeah.
now we're sharing this information, and now you do know.
Thank you so much. So I think we are ready for our question two. The question two is, what is the most exciting project slash event you have coming up? Okay, I can take a partial answer to that is we are, as an exciting event, I believe we are still in the process of aggregating all the responses and analyzing it, what would work best for the greater community and how would we like to proceed further. As an exciting event, uh, I think we will continue to expand and share our knowledge like what we are doing right now. And mostly we will keep all of you posted via social media or via our mailing list. Yes. And anybody would want to add something, please feel free to.
Well, I can actually contribute a little bit about what's happening in the D&I in APAC organizers around this sector. So the APAC organizer has been actually communicating among themselves for quite some time over the past 10 years. But this year we are planning to come together and to set up a main URL under PyCon APAC that we could actually combine and to contribute PyCon APAC event together. So the past year, what we do is that any country that will be hosting the event will use their own URL to host the event. But this year we're trying to make a change and to change it to PyCon APAC. The URL has to be confirmed soon, but right now we are actually discussing about that. So I think it's a great move, and that will involve many countries around the Asia Pacific.
I
Anyone
think
else?
those are the two questions. Oh, we got a question just now. I'm gonna read it out. Bear with me. It's a little longer question. Okay. Given the big differences in incomes globally, have there been any discussion of replacing the $99 supporting membership with something that's more accessible for folks in countries where that's a bigger stretch, like maybe trying the price tag to the local amount a developer can expect to earn in a day? Yes, that's the question.
I will say that the PSF there's been discussions about that before, and I completely agree with that. I think that's something that needs to change because 99 US dollars is a lot of money in other places. So that's a great question and absolutely relevant. It is something
Yeah.
that we have been discussing.
Yeah.
I think we got another question. Uh, where does one go to contribute to translations?
Oh, I think where do we find this?
We can share the information on the Venueless platform.
Yeah, I think we
I
can
think.
share that because
Yeah.
there is actually
Yeah.
a URL for the
Mm-hmm.
documentation translation
Yeah.
that you can actually sign up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But I
Mm,
think apart from
waiting.
documentation, there's also many other ways you can actually contribute too. Like what Deborah has mentioned too, like in Deborah's region there, all the different community how they actually contribute, be it setting up a small community for education to learn Python language, or be it setting up a chapter for PyLadies or anything else. These are many ways that you can actually contribute.
And there are like dedicated Slack channels, which
Mm,
are primarily there for you to guide you. Like if you want to set up, I was doing the same and I was pretty confused, like where I can go and kind of talk to the previous organizers and come up to revive the chapter that was uh, started by someone else. So these are kind of situations where you might feel a little stuck. Feel free to reach out to the Slack channel. Like Pilotly Slack channel is super, super active, and we are all there to guide you in case you face any difficulties in starting up the chapter, contributing, or any violations that you see happening. Please feel free to report them as well. Okay, then we are, I think, at the closing of our panel. So grateful to all of you to come. I believe there are different time zones over here, and most of them trying to be awake
Yeah.
like me on my fifth coffee right now. So
It's
thank you
1
so
a.m.
much for
here.
making. Okay, thank you so much.
So for closing, I would say everybody who's not at this moment a Python member, please sign up. That's free.
Yeah.
First, that is for free, so you don't need to pay to sign up as a member. And the next step, if you realize that you actually do spend 5 hours doing some Python something, just apply for the managing contribution. And it is you just describe what you're doing, but you don't need to prove, you don't need to,
Yeah.
it doesn't get checked.
Yeah.
So nobody's going to verify and send you, a person at
Yeah,
home
there's
to
no-
investigate how you work.
There's nothing for you to clock
Yeah.
the time.
Exactly. It's just, it's a formality. It's based on trust. So do that. And if you admire someone in your community that has helped you greatly and has, made your life in Python way more, better and inspired, recommend them for a community award. You can look on the Python website and check on the PSF website and check where you do that. It's writing an email and do that so that you'll see. People love it when they get awards, especially for community service. It's very nice feeling.
It's actually very motivating too, because to finally being recognized, like somewhere in the corner, you think that you are not being heard, but actually everyone is looking at it, and that kind of support is something that helps this community grow.
Especially the work that we do as invisible.
So
The
I
invisible
will be
work.
closing with a small note about housekeeping that we are going to take a 15-minute break. So stretch out, move your legs around, get the blood flowing over there, and we would be ready for our next stop by Thursday pram. So be there, at it, get motivated. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye,
Have a
everyone.
nice conference.
Yeah.